Yo, what it do, world? It's your boy, the Toothless Wonder, reporting from the Bamboozled Again News Network. And, hopefully y'all having a blessed Saturday. Hopefully y'all are, at peace or working to, strive for that type of lifestyle. You know what I mean? I never realized how valuable peace was until I never had it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't miss your water till your well run dry. I thought being in the mix or, moving and grooving to some degree was where I was at. This video will be about this, right? And I've come to discover, I was just thinking last night, a lot of my content is in relation to, like, the world and navigating it. Giving insight on the bamboozlements of, politics, religion, your food, the culture of dating, you know what I mean? Things that you need to be mindful of, watch out for, and just average day-to-day living and how things present themselves. So you can see it, identify it, and make the proper call. But I was thinking last night, none of that means anything, or you won't be able to effectively do that if you're ducking what I believe most people do, and myself as well, until I was forced to do it and didn't realize I was on the path of doing so. You can, know, XYZ about this particular topic or on your job, spirituality, so on and so forth. It is going to do you no good. You'll be like the brother who go to jail and read a whole bunch of books to wow you with his intellect, but he has no way of practically applying it. He's just using it to bamboozle you or to run whatever game he's about to run on you because you thinking he's on the enlightened perspective, but you don't see him behave, operate, and do things that are enlightened. You understand me? You can know all this, that, and the third about the world, or the only reason I'm able to give, from what I, have been told, sound critiques of whatever topic I'm covering is because I've done the inner work and continue to do so by default. It's not even burdensome to me anymore. I see the benefit in it. If you do enough work on yourself, in the sense of telling yourself the truth, and whatever you come up with, and then attempting to do something about it in application day in, day out, everything else seems clearer. Certain things started to happen, and I didn't realize it until it dawned on me, but I had been operating like this. Yo, I don't care what nobody think, yo. And I don't say that because it sound cool or it sound tough. Like, I really don't care. And I don't care because I don't have an ego or image to maintain, which ain't real no way. I'm okay with me, so I'm okay if you not okay with me. You see what I'm saying? I love me, and you can show or you can tell I truly love me because I make good decisions for the most part. And in the rare instance I make a mistake, which is typically on not having all the information, one, God covers me. Two, I learned something I didn't previously know that I can add to my feng shui. So it's not like I beat myself up because I made a mistake or I made an error. Kind of, sort of. I don't make them on purpose, but I actually like making mistakes for that very reason, because I'll learn something I ain't previously learned or knew, or I'll learn something I didn't previously know. I become addicted to information and applying it. Actually, outside of YouTube, you know what I mean, because it's a social media platform, I don't even like talking. I'm more on the do part. See, you start understanding. You judge people by what you see them do, not what you see them say, or hear them say, rather. But as I've done the inner work on myself, I now realize, and I've been realized, it just came to an epiphany, that people who haven't actually or on a path of healing, and it's a constant, like, you never really, I think you do, but then there's always next levels to it. So you're constantly always healing, evolving, growing, changing, adapting. If you're not on that path, that's how most people get bamboozled, by what people say. never taking into account, let me prove, or let them prove themselves to me in action, in deed. You see what I'm saying? Like in the dating game, someone may present themselves and so on and so forth. But but for the most part, what I see, you never sit back and wait and let me see if their words be true. You just take them at face value, even though you're just initially meeting them. That's completely unintelligent, especially in today's time. You see what I'm saying? Now, with me, I think people are blown away because I am who I say I am, and I do what I say I'm going to do. But if this is really, truly in my heart, you're going to see it by default. Like, I don't have to think, oh, let me prove myself to these people. Life situation will prove it to you when I'm placed in it. You see what I'm saying? I'm not really the one in regarding of back and forth debates. I know I'm right. You'll see it soon enough. I don't care about winning an argument. I already know I'm right. Not that I'm right out of ego. I know I'm right because necessity deems I have to be right. How many men do you know have a fulfilling lifestyle and they're consistently wrong? You see what I'm saying? And just from my time spent working in treatment or just, moving and grooving throughout society, as I've changed and evolved, it's almost put me on a path where I no longer, for the most part, can connect with the average person I come across, even though I used to be that way. It's like I got one of them updates on your phone, and now, even though I've done it or lived like that for a long period of time, I don't understand it. I don't even understand it when I did it, being this version of who I am now. You see what I'm saying? So it's hard for me to empathize or sympathize with someone who's making decisions that are detrimental to them, and then they skirt responsibility. Once I start taking responsibility for everything that happened with me and the decisions I made, all the stuff I used to complain about stopped happening magically. So if you're in a situation, and now granted, you can't rectify every situation instantaneously, but I talk to you, let's say 2 months later, and you still got the same situation, for whatever the reason, you want the situation. If you're not attempting to change it or implement steps that would change it over a period of time. And if you were doing that, you'd stop complaining about it because you'd be too busy working the solution, not continuing to complain about the problem. I've never seen a problem solved by talking. Now, that might be the first step, but you're not going to talk your way out of a problem. You got to do your way out of a problem. Or depending on the situation, stop doing something that's contributing to the problem. That's why I just don't gravitate, there's a certain disconnect with me and the average person I come across. I become as a man, I never realized how impulsive and how mentally and emotionally weak I was. Which it probably, most people, or let's say most men rather, they would have a hard time admitting that. Again, I don't have no ego or image to maintain, so I can say that and not care what nobody think. One, because I'm no longer that way. I'm more of the introspective, transparent individual in wisdom. Because I know if I dealt with it, you deal with it at some point. And anything you don't deal with, if at the very least acknowledge and be mindful of, will eventually come to your detriment. So you can play tough and then be in situations where you can't control yourself emotionally. That lets me know that you're not really that tough. And I was forced to do it. Yeah, okay, I'm enraged. But if I allow my rage to dictate my behavior, I'm going all the way down the mountain. And I can't afford that. That's one of the things that helped me stop thinking about what I'm looking at, the mission and the goal at hand, not what you think about it. And let's be totally honest, not that any of us are, I don't subscribe to the school of thought of, in competition with the next man. I'm in competition with the man in the mirror every day. But for those who may be kind of graded upon that, I don't care, because I know a whole vastly amount of people who behave because of what's going on in society. They can have all the money in the world, but behaviorally, I'm blown away. You play like you stunting in front and this, that, and the third, but you're in these vicarious situations. That's not stunting in front of me. That's you covering up something, or overemphasizing something to hide a deficiency somewhere else. And I don't look at it for a manipulative purpose, or it's just air apparent to me. Like my own shortcomings are air apparent to me. You know what I'm saying? And some stuff just fall off me. Some stuff I got to work at. But if I can beat myself, if I can beat my flesh, everything else is child's play. That's why typically the situations that will garner emotional response out of most people, I flatline on it. And I understand for the most part, ain't nothing going to happen. You see what I'm saying? In the grand scheme of things. And if I perceive that something could or would happen that could have a negative aspect on me, then I know how to work a plan to make that not be the case. All the while I'm calm. Because it's like, to me, I look at it like warfare. Instead of getting bent out of shape about these folk, shooting at me, how about I just make sure I don't get shot and return fire to a successful degree so that I can maintain, or I can complete the objective and the mission. But I can't complete nothing if I'm harmed on the battlefield. You see what I'm saying? And let's say hypothetically, and I'm just using it as an analogy, let's say hypothetically I do get harmed in the battlefield, right? I know how to heal myself. I know how to, let's say, hide behind this tree to get some rest before I reemerge. You see what I'm saying? Like, I look at everything as warfare. Even going back and forth with people or attempting to prove myself to people. I already know what's coming down the pipe. And you're going to get washed up regardless of what come out your mouth. That's why I notice the ignorant and the uninformed are very proud and boastful, which is mind-blowing to me. You see what I'm saying? The truly strong, informed, powerful are actually humble. You see what I'm saying? Because we wasn't always this way. And we know how, like, if you operate in a certain semblance of power over yourself, you realize how powerless you are concerning anything outside of yourself. You see what I'm saying? You can do everything right and your significant other leave. You can, work at a job 20 years, get promoted, go up, and then come to work one day and they don't want you no more. You see what I'm saying? That's why now, having done inner work, my confidence and self-value comes from everything internal that has been forged in me based on the path I had to walk that I believe was predestined by the Most High. Now, when I was in it at various stages, it made no sense. Now I get it. Now I have more faith. You see what I'm saying? I tend to view things more from a spiritual lens. Everything's spiritual. It just takes place in this physical realm. Now, you can take it for light or whatever the case may be. But now these invisible spiritual impositions are about to start manifesting itself in your real life, your behavior, your thoughts, your actions. At this point, it is what it is. Almost like the kind of the stoic samurai warrior who lives a minimalistic lifestyle, but is still yet content and fulfilled because he's rich internally. Again, because of the inverted value system here in Babylon, finance, the appearance of wealth, which typically means buying overpriced items to obtain them, to make it look like you're wealthy. You know what I'm saying? All that's about to get blown away. And if you don't have any kind of fortification internally, when these, or the illusion of this society and the outward dawnings of success or superficial are washed away, these people who have nothing to draw back on, or it's instantly revealed to them that the life they were living was an illusion and a lie, they won't be able to mentally hold up. And they haven't lived any kind of lifestyle of practicing that even in a small way. So then these people will do what I believe to be. They'll become carnal, or not carnal. They'll become primitive. They'll become based. You know what I'm saying? Like an animal, from what I understand, doesn't have any, higher cognitive function. They don't think. Everything they do is based off survival and instinct. Food, sex, fight or flight. That's it. There's no higher levels of thinking. From what I'm saying, most people aren't operating in any kind of higher cognitive function. Everything is I don't even want to say instinctual. Everything is desire. Every decision is desire based, which again makes no sense to me. You might talk to a woman, and of course she has these stories of how many dudes done did her wrong. But you continue to put yourself in these situations for this type of dude to do you wrong, and take no personal accountability in the stuff that go on with you. So it's going to continue to repeat itself. I don't know what it is about Babylon, where I think trauma is an overused word here. Like everybody's got trauma. I wouldn't even say that. Everybody goes through detrimental life situations. You see what I'm saying? But to put the label of trauma on it in the way they do, in an effort to skirt any personal responsibility of healing, basically what they're saying to you is, this has happened to me. I'm not going to work on it, and you're going to have to deal with it. Why would I want to deal with something about you that you don't even want to deal with? Sometimes people say, let's say I want $1 million or whatever, but take no steps to formulate a plan to achieve that goal and objective. They just want stuff. Now I understand this as well. And I'll let y'all into my personal life to a small degree, right? Opportunities present themselves, so I'm taking one, right? And I was thinking, how I had to, societally put myself in a position to, delve myself into this opportunity. But again, the outward movements, one, I probably couldn't have got there with my situation as it was set up. I probably couldn't have got there. Two, I definitely wouldn't have been able to get there and effectively manage it or get to this point outwardly had I not positioned myself internally and mentally. You see what I'm saying? Like, again, I'll use that analogy of $1 million. If you'd have gave me $1 million 7 years ago, I destroyed myself. If you get a blessing too early, it'll actually be a curse. You see what I'm saying? And then also, here's what I noticed too as well. You can want something, but from what I'm saying and understanding, nobody takes into account the responsibility that comes with and the stewardship that comes with what you want. So say I want a significant other, right? I just want this particular thing. But I'm not being mindful of who am I as a man to attract that. Who am I as a man, and what is my situation and resources and mentality, emotional stuff, whatever, to then keep that, be a good steward over that once I obtain that. That's why you'll see people get what they desire and then can't handle it. And I've seen this on the job where people want like a promotion or a title, just want the title, but can't manage the responsibilities and the nuances that come with the title. Everybody wants to be a boss, but nobody wants boss responsibility. Everybody wants to be a leader, but one, you can't follow, and two, you can't lead no group of people. You don't know how to, read, personality types. Like, you don't lead, and when they do lead, it's out of mouth. Nobody wants to lead by example. Everybody wants to talk. You see what I'm saying? And I'm just highlighting this just for those who may, decide to view this video in its totality. It's just a public service announcement. The one thing you can't run, well, two things, God and yourself. That's why as well in this, cannibalized social construct we find ourselves in. That's why I see that most people can't be by themselves for an extended period of time. Because they lose their minds or they're lonely. I guess everybody goes through a certain amount of loneliness. But when you don't have any distractions or anybody to validate you or anything or some status symbol to validate you, you don't feel valuable. You see what I'm saying? again, things are nice and so on and so forth, but my value doesn't come from any of those things. It's actually come from all the character that's been built. My character is what separates me from the average man. My mental aptitude is what separates me from the average man. So much so that it'll actually make people fearful of you. And then here's what I've noticed, like they'll start like gaslight. Like they'll attempt to get you to question who you are when they don't even know who they are. You see what I'm saying? It's like, it's always like this kind of role reversal kind of thing. People who will see you as intellectual will make these sly, insinuating, or these kind of backhanded compliments to get you to question, are you as smart as they think, as they know you are? I don't even play them type of game. I don't even, like, man, I ain't listening. You know what I'm saying? I got other stuff to do. Like, if I truly know who I am, what I look like trying to prove myself to you? And I can already tell you have no clue as to who you are. How do you know that, Calvin? Based on how you behave and the decisions you make. That's how I know. I actually had an individual contact me, and basically in reference to a certain subject matter, basically said that what I was saying wasn't true. So I made one statement, he made another statement. I left it alone. How you going to tell me what's true and what's not, and I was there? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is no different than, and I've seen brothers run this type of game, right? Whereas though, like, okay, I see a sister, right? And I'm trying to holler, right? But she ain't really feeding, or she ain't really trying to give me no rhythm. So then I just start calling her out her name. If that woman stays there and attempts to defend herself to me, she don't know me. But if you as a woman are attempting to defend yourself or to prove to me you're not what I say you are, you probably are like that. And then I'll just keep engaging with you, and then eventually I'll spin it around, and then I got the number. You see what I'm saying? Anybody, anybody who knows who they are isn't seeking to prove themselves to somebody else they don't know and who don't know them. So as soon as I see you just talking just to be talking, I'm gone. And then they might, oh, you just gonna walk, or a whole bunch of double talk. Ain't nobody got time for that, man. Nice try. I just never, even when I was younger, I just never understood. Like when I meet people, like I genuinely meet them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not thinking, yo, and as I'm, engaging with them or whatever, let me say this to see how they respond. Okay. Oh, they went for that. Let me get a little bit closer. You see what I'm saying? That's too much mental thought on irrelevant stuff for me. So once I perceive that, I'm going to just leave. Try that with somebody else, yeah? Ain't nobody got time for these rain. And there's nothing new under the sun. Nobody is running any type of new game that ain't nobody, especially in the Negro community, right? Where everybody's so slick, right? But a lot of times what ends up happening, you end up manipulating. At this point, I like to believe, you end up attempting to manipulate or siphon from those who are unknowledgeable or weak. You see what I'm saying? How would I feel about myself internally if my get down is taking advantage of people or fast talking people? That ain't nothing I want to operate in or be known for, even for whatever, the instant gratification would be. Nah, I'm good on that. I just want people might not like me, or they might not like what I say, or might not like my opinion, but they got to respect my get down. If for nothing else, you can't even make a run at it. You see what I'm saying? We talking about years of isolation, years of sitting with myself, years of self-reflection, years of delay, years of being, rejected or having potential situations not work out. You see what I'm saying? Years of mistakes and relapsing. You see what I'm saying? So if anything, I seem wise by default, not because I know what to do, but half the battle is not doing what you know you shouldn't do. That's what be getting everybody late. Not the fact of what they, or some, masterful campaign they done came up with. Most of your success will be not shooting yourself in the foot, not making impulsive decisions, not making wise decisions in who you surround yourself by. You see what I'm saying? I know a whole plethora of brothers who have lives have been thrown off track because of the woman they choose to deal with. And then what makes it so bad, they keep trying to like get the woman to comprehend where they're coming from. She don't want to comprehend. Now you on chase mode, or you're diverted from your primary purpose. And behaviorally, this woman shows she don't care nothing about you. But when she needs you, she'll just say it. But outside of her saying it, you don't see none of the action that would make you believe what she's saying is actually true in application. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a great sign up off here, man. Let's be mindful on this Sabbath. Let's judge people by what they do and not what they say. And on that note, I'm going to holler at y'all. Ooh,